Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville, Mississippi. A big non-conference matchup here early in the season this afternoon. It's Utah State out of the Mountain West Conference and Mississippi State. Hello, everyone. I'm Bart Gregory, joined by Matt Wyatt. Mississippi State has won their first 2 games of the season. Utah State have won their first 3 of the year. This is the 3rd and final game of this 3-game series. The two contracted in 2012. And Matt Wyatt, this is one of those measuring stick basketball games that coaches talk about. You're going to get a good feel of what you got after today.
Well, I think so. And defensively, Mississippi State's going to learn a lot about themselves today, Bart, because Utah State, multiple sets that they will try to execute. A lot of picks on that offensive end. It'll force Mississippi State to switch on a lot of screens. So this is the biggest defensive challenge Mississippi State has faced so far this season.
Should be a great matchup today along the front line. David Collette of Utah State against Gavin Ware.
Yeah, Collette is the leading scorer for this Utah State team, coming in averaging almost 20 points a game. And here's the key. He's listed as a redshirt freshman, but after a 2-year mission, he's a 21-year-old grown man in that paint at 6'8", 220. So he's really going to challenge Gavin Ware and the post players today of Mississippi State.
So Gavin Ware, you see him there, averaging 16.5, 72% from the field so far, 9 rebounds. Gavin Ware, the junior from Starkville, a great start to his season.
And as important as his game is today offensively, it's even more important for Gavin to be aggressive on defense for Mississippi State, but not get in foul trouble. He's not been challenged yet this year on the defensive end the way that Collette and Jalen Moore will for Utah State. So a lot on the shoulders today of Gavin Ware.
You talk about Collette, Jalen Moore, Mississippi State along the front line, Raquez Johnson, and Gavin Ware. That should be a big-time matchup offensively and defensively.
Yeah, on both ends of the court. Both teams with 2 bigs. You mentioned it. Both bigs, or all 4, are leading their teams in scoring. Who can stay out of foul trouble today? That's the key for Mississippi State hosting Utah State here in Humphrey Coliseum.
Well, just about set for the opening tip here in Starkville this afternoon. You've got a longtime head coach in Stu Morrill in his 17th year at Utah State. 7-year head coach at Colorado State. Spent 5 as a head coach at Montana. And Rick Ray in his 3rd season at Mississippi State. Assistant coach at Purdue under Matt Painter and under Brad Brownell at Clemson now in year number 3. From the outside, Perkins left it short. And Mississippi State will bring it to the offensive end with Travis Daniels. 5 on the floor for Mississippi State. Fred Thomas, Trevante Bloodman. You see the junior point guard. Gavin Ware of the low post, Travis Daniels and Raquez Johnson. And a foul here early. And let's take a look at the lineups. We talked about the 5 for Mississippi State. That front line for Utah State, David Collette, Jalen Moore, a reckoning force in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, Jalen Moore, maybe the best overall player. He's the leading rebounder and averaging double-figure scoring. Collette averaging 16 a game.
Raquez Johnson off the inbound, and Mississippi State has the initial points of the ball game. Utah State, a team that went 18-14 last year, Matt, lost 5 starters off that team a year ago. These teams played out in Logan a season ago, and Utah State won 87-68. And you see Stu Morrill, longtime head coach, very good head coach, a very studious coach. And Matt, that's one of the things that Utah State is going to do. They're going to run a lot of sets today and try to get Mississippi State to branch out with their defense and create some passing lanes and cutting lanes.
And there's one of those cutting lanes. After giving up the basket on the inbounds on the other side, they come back, get it to Moore, puts it in the left hand, and the foul called against Travis Daniels, 23 for Mississippi State.
Jalen Moore, a native of Logan, Utah. Logan, Utah, about an hour north of Salt Lake City. Playing the Mountain West Conference. This Aggie team picked to finish 8th in the Mountain West this year. Mississippi State picked to finish 8th in the SEC.
Got this zone going to begin the game, and a turnover right away for Utah State.
In transition, Moore with a lay-in. And Mississippi State, you see that first turnover of the night. Bulldogs had 26 in their last game against Mississippi Valley State. Now, a lot of those came in the second half in garbage time, but nonetheless, something that Rick Ray talked about after the game is saying, hey, we cannot turn the basketball over that much. And there you see Gavin Ware for the first time tonight.
Well, and you know, nice ball movement on the perimeter. You get that zone a little bit loosened. And that was an excellent little baby hook, soft off the glass.
Jalen Moore. And Travis Daniels couldn't catch it before it hit the baseline. And you see Rick Ray. Came to Mississippi State over the past couple of years. They've had a minimal amount of players due to injuries, due to transfers. And you see the three out of the corner by Darius Perkins. And Rick Ray says, hey, I finally have a full roster. You're going to see a lot more 94 feet pressure with your defense. So far, Utah State has been the much more aggressive defensively here in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, no press yet, no man-to-man yet. How about that? Foul on the three for Fred Thomas. There again, you see Utah State willing to back down there in that zone and force Mississippi State to execute on offense, which gives you a little bit, that's Utah State style, but it also gives you a little bit of an indication of they respect the athletic ability of this Mississippi State team. You go back and watch what they did in that last game against Mississippi Valley, a lot of run-out dunks and flying up the floor. They're going to force Mississippi State to execute on the offensive end tonight.
Fred Thomas, an 85% free throw shooter. Came in 11 of 13, makes the first of 3. And now Fred Thomas will have one final free throw. Just underway in Starkville. Mississippi State and Utah State. Matt, the thing that has really hampered Utah State here early in the season, the Aggies have gotten off to slow starts in each of their first 3 games. They've trailed at the half in all 3 of their previous games, but come back to win all 3 of those. Down 16-1 in their last game at home to Santa Clara. Able to get it within 5 at the half and went on to win that game by 6 at home over Santa Clara in the midweek. They're off to a good start tonight. A foul on the floor, a hand check against Gavin Ware.
And I tell you, that's just an experienced move. It's a simple ball fake by Collette. Watch him catch. Ball fake, and it gets Ware out of position. He has to reach, and you get your first foul. Experienced play.
Utah State team a season ago. He had Jared Shaw down to the low post, Butterfield a forward, had great guard play with Preston Medlin, and a 3 from deep. And it's 10-6. Second 3 of the night or the afternoon for Utah State.
Well, against that man defense of Mississippi State right now, Utah State hasn't gotten the looks around the basket. They've gotten the outside look and knocked 2 of them down, as you said.
Thomas from the corner. Fred Thomas for 3.
And that's his spot. Down there in the corner. Give him enough room, he's going to knock that down all night long. Utah State's got to extend a little bit defensively.
Collette off the pass from Moore.
Boy, what a look from Moore. Never even comes down. He catches and delivers the feed to his teammate in midair.
And Utah State leads by 3. And Travis Daniels couldn't handle it cleanly, and Mississippi State turns it over for the second time. And that will take us to our first media timeout. So Utah State on the road for the second time this season. They won at Illinois State last week, and they've gotten off to a good start here in Starkville this afternoon. Utah State leading by 3 over Mississippi State. Fred Thomas, a three out of the corner. And Fred Thomas has had 5 consecutive games of 15 or more points. And over that 5-game span that dates back to last year, 14 of 28 behind the three-point line.
Well, and if you start making a lot of three-pointers, you're in danger of getting the big head. You have to stay humble. You see, there's some state fans in here today getting ready to watch the remainder of this basketball game and then probably head over to Davis Wade Stadium for football tonight as Mississippi State will be hosting Vanderbilt. So a full day of action on campus.
Nothing like November on a college campus. Most of the weekends you have a chance to see a couple of events, not just one.
Nice job by Ndoye in the ball game in the post. 7-foot freshman for Mississippi State.
Deep three by Perkins, and he left it short. 3-point Utah State lead. And Utah State's been in the man-to-man here early on. They'll switch their defenses a few times. You see Raquez Johnson coming into the lane. Little baby hook for Raquez.
How nice is that? The senior from Montgomery, Alabama, averaging 18 points over the first 2 games coming in. Just backs him down, baby hooking in.
And a jump ball called, and you see for the first time today that pressure on Mississippi State, that pressure defense by the Bulldogs, turning Utah State over for the first time this afternoon.
And that was big. Gets a crowd in it. Best defender on this Mississippi State team, that guy who hit that 3 earlier, Fred Thomas, a part of the trap.
Well, if you're Darius Perkins, that's the last place on the floor you want to pick up your dribble across half court. You look the Bermuda Triangle over there. And I.J. Reddy in the game for Mississippi State. Sophomore from Little Rock, Arkansas. Has not played this year due to a back injury. And you see the sophomore point guard now handling the basketball for Mississippi State. Of course, Mississippi State playing without their leading scorer from a season ago, Craig Sword, as Fred Thomas with a second opportunity is fouled. So without I.J. Reddy, without Craig Sword, you got a very thin backcourt for Mississippi State. And Rick Ray has talked about I.J. Reddy slowly coming back. They thought he could play possibly today or in their next ball games on the road in Corpus Christi over the Thanksgiving holidays. And you see the sophomore here early in this basketball game, and now Fred Thomas at the line shooting 2.
What a boost I.J. Reddy can be and should be for this Mississippi State team, especially in the ball handling, ball security category. Quick player out there at the point. Getting him back from injury could be huge for Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State had talked about Craig Sword. They thought he could possibly come back the first couple of games of the year. They thought he would be back by this time. But Craig Sword landed awkwardly in a practice a couple of weeks ago. Rick Ray talked about it 2 days ago in a press conference about how Craig Sword has had somewhat of a setback. Not exactly sure when they'll get him back. But you add Craig Sword to this mix. If you have guys hitting 3-point buckets can open the field, they have a chance for dribble drive from Craig Sword. You see the foul as Demetrius Houston, a freshman from down in Montgomery, comes into the ball game. And they'll charge the foul to Gavin Ware. That's big. 6 minutes deep, and Gavin Ware now has 2 fouls.
Yeah, his second, and he's out there, way out there on the key, defending the shot of a guard. And you just can't reach right there in that situation if you're Gavin Ware. Just a bad decision to go horizontal with that hand. Just go vertical. Get up.
And the free throw rattles off from McClaston. And you know if that's Rick Ray, and you see Rick Ray greeting Gavin Ware as he walks to the bench. Both the big man fouls have been at least 15 feet away from the goal, and that's very frustrating. You talked about the big guys. It's one thing to get the fouls underneath. It's another thing to go out and guard 15, 17, 18 feet away and pick up the cheap foul.
Well, and I think it shows you're doing a pretty good job defensively of not allowing those big men of Utah State to get around that rim. But you cancel all that out when you go get a couple of reach-in fouls from Gavin Ware early. He's got to move his feet and avoid that stuff. Now Ndoye, the freshman, 22, back in the game.
Ndoye with the offensive rebound and the putback.
Wow.
So the freshman from Senegal gets the garbage bucket. Fresh into the ball game, and Mississippi State leads by 1.
Excellent defensive pressure for the Bulldogs right now also.
Quick hands by I.J. Redding. Well, both teams have shot it okay here early on. Mississippi State 5 of 7 from the field. Utah State 4 of 7. Perkins has it knocked away. 4 on the shot clock. Gotta hurry. Hanging and missing is Julian Perry. Utah State's been solely man-to-man so far defensively. Tipped away by McLaston.
Get another freshman now in the ball game for Mississippi State. Oliver Black comes in. Rockwest Johnson, the senior, will get a rest.
Oliver Black, the freshman from Jackson, Mississippi. Wingfield High School. Demetrius Houston, too long with a 15-footer from the baseline. And Noma Aya brings it to the offensive end. 3 from the corner by JoJo McLaston. His 4th 3 of the year. And Utah State has a 2-point lead again. Demetrius Houston. Well, he misses the 15-footer from the baseline, steps out to the right wing, and gives the Bulldogs a lead back. Freshman from down in Montgomery, Carver High School.
6'7", unbelievable athlete. You see him getting after it, causing a turnover on the defensive end. That's a nice series for the freshman from Montgomery. Has a lot to learn about playing basketball at this level from a technical standpoint, but ups and shooting ability is something he doesn't lack. Knocks down the 3.
Bulldogs lead by 1 over Utah State. Freshman. Well, Bulldog freshman. Matt, last game, Rick Ray talked about the first half, Mississippi State against Mississippi Valley State. Showed poise, played well, especially in the first half, built out a big lead. And then he went to his freshman a lot in the second half. A lot of freshman turnovers. But so far, when you've seen these freshmen come in, Oliver Black, Demetrius Houston, Falou Ndoye, they've performed okay today. Haven't turned it over much at all. Of course, it's kind of a different defense you're seeing today.
Yeah.
Utah State sitting back while Mississippi Valley kind of forcing the action. But so far, the freshmen have passed the test today.
That's right. And you're right. We've yet to see any half-court, full-court press from Utah State. That remains to be seen. But these freshmen playing well right now for the Bulldogs, especially on the defensive end.
Bulldogs check another freshman in, Maurice Dunlap, freshman guard from the Mississippi Delta over in Greenwood. But an offensive foul on Ndoye, trying to establish position in the low post.
Well, Utah State got David Collette back in the ball game, and during his rest and time on the bench for the Aggies is when Rick Ray's team was able to catch up and now has regained the lead. They bring him back in after the timeout. The first thing he does is battling Ndoye, the freshman, in the post, foul, and get the ball back.
Freshman guard for Utah State handling Henry Bolton. Pass to the interior, Sean Harris. And the floater from Curitan too strong.
Well, and those long arms of the 6'11" Ndoye caused that miss. You can't teach size.
Bolton forces the turnover, and Houston, who turns it over on the offensive end, gets back and collects the foul on the defensive end.
Yeah, they're going to get Dunlap for the foul. The point guard in the game, or actually playing the two now on the floor with Reddy. That was just a careless mistake on the offensive end for Demetrius Houston. Not understanding the spacing between he and the defender. They easily take it away. That was a nice job attacking the rim, getting it to an open teammate, drawing the foul, getting to the free throw line, now knocking it down and tying the game.
Chris Smith, a 73% free throw shooter, has this one to give Utah State the lead back, and he does. Approaching the midway point of the first half. Utah State and Mississippi State. Bulldogs and the Aggies have gone back and forth. 3 ties, 4 lead changes here in the first 10 minutes of this game. Here's Houston from the corner.
Not a bad look. You don't mind him taking that shot. I will tell you, though, you watch Utah State on defense when they drop back in that 2-1-2 zone and they're spacing and understanding. Yeah, a couple of times they've allowed Fred Thomas, when he's in the game, to get some room in the corner, enough so to knock down a three-pointer once for him. Another time against the zone, you had a 3 that Demetrius Houston knocked down. But you watch Utah State work on defense in this zone, and they'll spread it out, and they'll trust Collette in the middle. A very well-coached basketball team.
And Mississippi State turns it over. That's a 5th Bulldog turnover. Now, Utah State, they've turned it over 3 times here early. This Stu Merrill Utah State team, they don't turn it over much. Had 7 turnovers in each of their first 2 games. Turned it over 12 times against Santa Clara in the midweek. So only 1 time this year have they gone in double figures in turnovers. And there's turnover number 4 right on cue.
You know, both teams a little careless with the basketball right now. There's one where you just take your eyes off of it. Kind of like a football player trying to catch a pass and run with it before he actually secures it. You know, it's just taking your eyes off of it. Both teams, you do a better job securing that basketball. Bulldogs trying everything they can to find a way to get an inlet pass.
Daniels got his own rebound. And here's Fred Thomas. Travis Daniels, another offensive rebound. Couldn't finish around the goal, and a foul underneath on Sean Harris of Utah State.
Well, size and length is one thing this team has this year at Mississippi State they didn't have a year ago. They're going to say that they get Johnson on the arm as he tried to put back there. But excellent offensive rebounding. Guys going to the rim, Daniels, Johnson, and Ndoye.
Raquez Johnson, 8 of 13 at the stripe this season, 62%. Rattles that one in to tie the ball game at 18. 5 offensive rebounds so far for Mississippi State. And Raquez Johnson gives Mississippi State the lead. 6 points for Raquez Johnson, a couple of field goals, and those 2 free throws. And Utah State turns it over again. That's number 5.
Well, I tell you what, that's excellent defensive pressure one-on-one from Fred Thomas out there pressuring the ball. And credit Bloodman also, the point guard. He's back across the midcourt stripe, and as soon as he sensed that Thomas had his man on the ropes, he comes in, applies a little pressure. Now you got a double team. You get a wild throw and a throwaway.
Bloodman fouled, trying to penetrate the 2-3 zone. And that's foul number 5 against Utah State. And Collette will pick up the foul, and that's number 2 on David Collette. So we talked about Gavin Ware and David Collette in the pregame today. And now both guys on the bench with 2 fouls here in the first half.
And what that means for the Aggies is Sean Harris, the senior, number 30, is getting a little more early playing time in relief of Collette. As you say, he's having to sit over there with 2 early fouls now.
On the clock, and Bloodman drives in, off balance shot, and there's Raquez Johnson. Count the bucket, and he's fouled. And Raquez Johnson continues to be the king of the garbage bucket, the offensive putback. Yeah,
he just had position and then gets bumped as Jalen Moore is falling and kind of goes underneath him as he went up for the putback. An unfortunate foul for Utah State, Jalen Moore.
Second foul on Jalen Moore. So now Collette and Moore both carrying 2 fouls. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Raquez Johnson can't complete the old-fashioned 3-point play, but Mississippi State has a 3-point lead. And another turnover forced by the Mississippi State defensive pressure. A quick trigger out of the corner from Bloodman. Moore will stay in, carrying his 2 fouls.
You know, and he's a player, Bart, averaging 14 points a game for Utah State coming in. Moore has 4 right now.
Chris Smith misses from the right wing. And here's Fred Thomas. Raquez Johnson. He went right after Moore, knew he had 2 fouls, and Raquez Johnson has 10 here early.
Boy, what a smart offensive possession. You know, the big man with the big fro, Jalen Moore's got 2 fouls. You go right at him, and Johnson challenges him and gets the bucket.
A 6-0 run by the Bulldogs. And Curitan will go to the free throw line. Junior college transfer, Trace Curitan from Indianapolis. Trevante Bloodman picks up the foul, and that will take us to break. So Mississippi State on a 6-0 run over the last 2:09. Turned a 1-point deficit into a 5-point lead.
Kidding. Right now, 12 points in the paint for the Bulldogs, just 4 for Utah State. And also, you know, you look, there's been 5 points off the bench in the early going for Mississippi State. You haven't had a single bench player for the Aggies score yet. And right now, trying to change that on the free throw line.
Trace Curitan at the line. And he misses his first. That was his first free throw attempt of the season. Trace Curitan from Sinclair Community College. Played at Cathedral High School in Indianapolis.
I'll tell you one thing, if you're Rick Ray right now, you have to be happy with the way that the freshman Falou Ndoye is playing in the post in relief of Gavin Ware. You really have to like what Travis Daniels is doing out there, the 6'7", 6'8" junior college transfer, in helping you handle the basketball, creating some turnovers on the defensive end, rebounding. He is really a shot in the arm here also.
Sean Harris picks up his second foul. So now all the frontline players, the starters for Utah State. Harris is off the bench, but he now has 2 fouls. Collette has 2. Jalen Moore has 2. And now Falou Ndoye will shoot free throws, a 1-and-1. And Falou Ndoye, pretty good free throw shooter.
Yep.
3 of 4 coming in on the season before that make. And the freshman from Senegal hits them both. Mississippi State has a 6-point lead. Ball knocked free by I.J. Reddy. Couldn't pick it up cleanly, but now the Bulldogs will set up the half court.
I tell you what, Darius Perkins, the point guard for Utah State, has just been pressured and pressured some more this entire first half.
Daniels nowhere to go. Fred Thomas from straight away. Throws up the air ball. That's a couple of times so far here early that Fred Thomas hasn't gotten the feet set as he rushed that shot from the top of the key. Now reach-in foul on Fred Thomas. And he'll pick up his first foul. Team's at 7th, so we'll walk to the other end and shoot a 1-and-1.
You know, so 17 fouls for Mississippi State, Bart. And if you think about it, 4 of those now have just been silly, lazy feet reach-in fouls, including the one you just saw from Thomas. You know, outside of those mistakes, defensively, the Bulldogs have been really good so far.
Missed the front end, and Mississippi State with a rebound. So Darius Perkins misses the free throw, and Mississippi State with the basketball, leading by 6. Well, I.J. Reddy battling with Elston Jones in the low post. 5 on the shot clock, and I.J. Reddy barely draws iron.
That was a good defensive possession there for Utah State.
Perkins from the corner. Tip wouldn't go the second time for Elston Jones. Able to put it off the glass. First points for Elston Jones, and it's back to 4.
Big, tall, 6'9" freshman just batted it in with the left.
Fred Thomas just inside the 3-point arc. 8 points for Fred Thomas. And Perkins from the right corner buries the three. Darius Perkins, second three of the ball game, has all 6 coming from behind the arc. The basketball will belong to Utah State.
Yeah, Rockwest Johnson just got a hand on it. He initially is in position right under the basket, but unable to bring it in. There you look back at the stop and pop just above the free throw line from Fred Thomas. And if the senior Thomas can get hot from that range, he's going to have some looks and really do some damage this year.
And a nudge as the dribble drive by McGlaston, and he's going to go to the free throw line. So that will take us to our final media timeout of the first half. And Mississippi State led by as many as 6. And Utah State will be at the free throw line when we come back, trailing by 3. Under 4 to go in the first half, and Mississippi State leading Utah State by 3. And Matt Wyatt, Mississippi State, the one thing that Rick Ray has not had in his first 2 years in Starkville is quality depth. Like 6, 7, 8 scholarship players at times. And when you had early foul trouble in basketball games, sometimes you have to leave guys in even after 2 fouls in the first half. And now with that experience that you have, the depth you have, Mississippi State, Gavin Ware went to the bench early, and now he doesn't have to worry about bringing Gavin Ware back into the first half.
Yeah, not going to, doesn't have to. And it's just such a different experience right now for Coach Ray here in his 3rd season. Because as you mentioned, there's his big guy Ware over there with 2 fouls. Well, in comes the freshman Ndoye at 6'11", rebounding and providing quality minutes. Travis Daniels is a 6'8" player playing out there on the wing some, but he gives you a tremendous boost in a rebounding category. And then also freshman Oliver Black, who 33 you see there on the post at 6'9", and he's able to give you some length in the game too.
Couple of free throws by McGlaston, and it's back to 1. Stu Morrill has the same problem here in the first half. His 2 big guys carrying 2 fouls and out of the basketball game. Alley-oop. Houston couldn't handle it. Ndoye sticks it back.
Oh, boy, that's nice. That is nice. Such touch. Step away. I mean, you can't defend that with a guy that's that tall, that long arms, and that kind of touch on the baby hook. That was a nice offensive showing from Falou Ndoye.
Ball movement by Utah State. And a right wing 3 for the tie from Chris Smith. Chris Smith ties the basketball game with his 8th point, the 6th tie here in the first half. And Mississippi State turns it over. Pass too hot for Dunlap. And a free throw coming for Utah State to take the lead.
So the turnover and an opportunity. Watch the putback here. Step away, 6'11", baby hook with the right. That is beautiful from the freshman from Senegal.
Aggies trying to take the lead. And the first free throw is long from Chris Smith.
I'll tell you, it's the three-point shooting of this Aggie team that's keeping them in the ballgame. They're 5 of 10 right now, 50% from three-point range.
Slow pace to the game, only 29 points for each team. Both teams have shot it close to 50%. And Utah State takes the lead 30-29. Utah State 8 of 15 from the floor, 53%. Mississippi State 10 of 22, 46%. Indoy with a left hand. So he goes right, and now he comes back left and gets fouled, and Mississippi State has the lead right back.
He calls for the basketball. He yelled, IJ, and IJ Reddy got it to him. One little head fake, spins left and lays it in. You're right. Not many players as freshmen with at 6'11", you're going to find it come right in there and have that kind of touch with either hand.
And he makes the free throw. The big man can shoot from the free throw line. The Bulldogs lead by 2, under 3 to go. Mississippi State's been man-to-man throughout. Utah State has mixed it up a little bit with their defense. Man and zone. Here's Perkins for 3 from the left wing. And the Aggies take the lead right back. 9 lead changes in the first half. And Fred Thomas aggressively going to the basket will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, and I like the aggressiveness. I like the decision by Fred Thomas. After Perkins buries another 3, 6 threes for the Aggies now in the first half. Thomas comes right back, goes straight to the hoop, draws the foul on Jones, his first.
Talk about 6 threes for Utah State. 3 of those have come from the junior Darius Perkins, all the way from Fort Myers, Florida to Logan, Utah. And Thomas missed the first. Oh, Fred Thomas, who came in a very good free throw shooter, 85%, 11 of 13 coming in. Just 3 of 6 at the line today. And he missed them both. Aggies lead by 1 with the basketball. Three for Perkins from straight away. And a double dribble on Fred Thomas, an unforced turnover for the Bulldogs. And now both teams have 7 turnovers. Utah State working the perimeter. McGlaston. Back to Smith. And Mississippi State defensively just not giving up anything inside. And a foul underneath. It's going to go against Mississippi State and IJ Reddy. And Utah State will be shooting free throws with the big man Elston Jones.
I didn't see what Reddy did. I got caught watching the basketball come off the rim, seeing if Ndoye or Jones was going to be able to come down with it. They're just going to get Reddy right there for a little bit of a shove on Jones as he went up for that rebound.
And Jones, the left-hander, puts in his first free throw. I.J. Reddy comes out after he picks up his second foul. And Maurice Dunlap, freshman guard from Mississippi State, comes back in. So Utah State leads by 2. And Elston Jones trying to make it 3. And he does. First free throws of the year for Elston Jones. And Utah State leads by 3. The Aggies can hold this lead. It will be the first time they've led all season at the half. And a 3-second in the lane against Falou and Doye.
Well, after a little bit of a flurry, now 2 straight trips down the floor where the Bulldogs just give the ball right back to the Aggies, who already have the lead. And now we're under a minute until half.
Perkins out top. Utah State just running the weaves out top. Here's Perkins for 3. Got another one.
Wow.
His 4th of the afternoon. And Utah State leads by 6.
Is he hot or what? And the Aggies are 7 of 14 from 3-point range in the first half. 7 of 14, and that's a team that...
And it's a 2-point game.
Boy, what a start to the second half for Mississippi State offensively. 2 shots from long range.
And now timeout taken by Stu Morrill. Perkins, who struggled with the pressure early on, and his 17-year head coach, Stu Morrill, saw him get in trouble at half court, and a timeout is taken, and we played a minute and a half in the second half. And Utah State, who led by 4 at the break, leads by 2 at the moment. 41-39, Utah State leading. That'll take us to a timeout. As you see, Fred Thomas out to Gavin Ware from straight away. 4 points now for Gavin Ware.
And as they go to the bench over there and Stu Morrill talking to his team, it was almost as if you could see him asking Jalen Moore, his power forward, where were you? You know, he's out there standing all by his lonesome, and he can knock that shot down. You can't give him that kind of room. What happened? And so a little bit of a defensive breakdown for Utah State there.
And you see Rick Ray talking to his team, and Matt, you can't lament the point enough about the 3 from Travis Daniels. A 7-point ball game after Utah State with a 3 out of the right corner from Chris Smith. To quickly get it back to 4 was a huge shot for the junior.
Well, and that's right, and it's kind of one of those fundamentals of basketball, Bart, and that is if a team is going to back down in there and play some zone defense, protect that paint, if they're going to give you perimeter shots, eventually you got to knock them down. And that's what Utah State has done throughout this ball game. The 7 3-pointers they hit in the first half, they hit another one coming out of the gates here. They've hit the shots, and if they're going to do the same to you, somebody for that Mississippi State squad's got to be able to knock down some perimeter shots. And so that's why it's huge for Daniels. Not only does it put the early 3 on the board, but it gives him some confidence, and I think it gives his teammates confidence that, hey, if they're gonna lay back, even you saw Gavin Ware 2 feet inside the strike, and he knocks it down. If you're gonna get those open ones, you have to knock them down if you want to win in Division I college basketball.
And we do coming in at the half, coming to start the second half. You were going to see Collette touch the basketball for Utah State. They got the ball in his hands. Gavin Ware made a nice defensive play, and you knew that Rick Ray was going to get the basketball in the hands of Gavin Ware. We've seen that so far, as so much of these offenses run through their big men, and Gavin Ware, with the foul trouble today, only 4 points, picked up 2 fouls early on, and now it's a 2-point game, 41-39. Smith trying to go against Gavin Ware. The big man may have bothered that shot. Here's Thomas for the lead, and Fred Thomas gives Mississippi State a 42-41 lead, an 8-0 run by the Bulldogs. closer attempt goes over the backboard as Jalen Moore left it off the front iron. Fred Thomas out of the left corner, his second three of the day, 13 for Fred Thomas. Ware shorted that one with the left hand. Never got complete possession of it.
Yeah, just lost control.
And Perkins with a dribble drive, and the Aggies take the lead right back. That's 11 lead changes we've seen today. Thomas, Rockwest Johnson had it blocked, put it back up, but we'll go to the free throw line. Rockwest Johnson, Mississippi State early on, and 7 quick offensive rebounds. And they're going to get Collette with a foul, and that's number 3.
Yeah, just swiping at it. He used the ball fake on the second rebound there to get more off his feet. He had position on Collette, so Collette had to foul him in order to affect the shot.
And Johnson misses the free throw. Yeah, that Darius Perkins drive to the bucket. You didn't know he could do it. That's the first shot that he's made inside a 3-point range today. As Rockwest Johnson ties the basketball game with a made free throw. Well, David Collette came in averaging 16 points, and he has just 2 today. Has been in foul trouble, and he's back on the bench with his 3rd. Ball knocked free. Rockwest Johnson with a steal and the flush.
The senior Johnson picks it and sticks it on the other end.
Mississippi State's been man-to-man all day. And the tip in by Jalen Moore. Rick Ray wanted to push off and a travel underneath. And he is really barking at Patrick Evans, one of our officials. Now foul underneath as they get the big man Elston Jones with a foul.
That's Jones' 4th personal foul. He doesn't have much room left, and one of the other big guys, Collette, their leading scorer over there with 3.
McGlaston left it short, and here's Bloodman running. Man-to-man for the Aggies. Great catch by the big man. Rockwest Johnson over to Gavin Ware. And Gavin Ware, who had just 2 in the first half, has 6 early points in the second half. And Mississippi State leads by 4.
And I tell you, Johnson had to thread the needle, didn't he, on that baseline. He didn't have much room to get it in there. Good soft hands on the catch.
Moore with a spin and a shot and left it just off the iron. And Ware cleans up the rebound. Ball fake by Travis Daniels. And how about the junior? And Matt, I still go back to the point. Travis Daniels may have hit the best shot, biggest shot so far the second half of Mississippi State.
I agree with you when he answered with that 3. And boy, what a patient, smart, mature move there. Got a little space, just good fundamentals, uses the left arm to shield, drives with the right hand, then head fake and get them off their feet, draw the foul.
Missed the free throw. Bulldogs 11 of 18 at the free throw line today.
And that looked like some of my putts on the golf course where it actually goes in the hole and somehow comes back out.
I've seen you play golf. I do not remember those times. Daniels missed them both.
That's tough. You got to knock down those free throws. Bulldogs have not had a great day at the charity stripe, that's for sure.
Just 11 of 19 so far. Perry went down, but able to keep possession. Here's Moore from straight away. Utah State relying a lot on the outside shots here in the second half. They get 50% of their threes in the first half, that have cooled down somewhat in the second. Gavin Ware back to Fred Thomas. And Utah State, tough rebound, and we've got a stoppage of play. Somebody lost a shoe, and that shoe belongs to Darius Perkins.
Lost a shoe, and he was just going to continue and play shoeless. But that was very nice of the Mississippi State bench to alert the official that they had possession of the aforementioned shoe and were able to get it back to their competitor. You know, some coaches are mean-spirited, Bart. They would have hidden it. Would you have given his shoe back? Would you have hidden it if you were the coach?
Well, toss it, hide it. No, I would have been the kind,
pass it around the gym
person. You got to give credit to Perkins. He wasn't making excuses, was he?
No.
Up and under for Moore.
Boy, nice move.
Jalen Moore. Back to a 2-point game. You see IJ Reddy playing in his first game of the season. Played sparingly in the first half. Thomas leaves it long. Here come the Aggies running. And Mississippi State gets back in transition defense. Now Utah State will run through one of their many half-court sets. Here's Jalen Moore. Sean Harris is short. And here come the Bulldogs the other way, leading by 2. Almost saved in as Utah State with Henry Bolton knocked it free.
They were able to get it there to Johnson on the high post. I think the senior just had a little bit of an indecisive moment of indecision of what to do. Spin right and try to hook him down to the glass, or go left and maybe baby hook, and when he just kind of hesitated, able to knock it away, almost had a turnover.
Falou and Doye comes in for Gavin Ware. And Rockwez Johnson backs his way in, and that's 15 for Rockwez. Back to a 4-point Mississippi State lead.
Got to like the pressure there that IJ Reddy's able to give you on the point defensively. And Utah State, though, to their credit, have handled the press, the full court press nicely.
Rockwez Johnson. And he missed the jam. And that will take us to immediate timeout. So second time today, Rockwez Johnson has read a pass out top. He flushed the first one. He clanks the second. But Mississippi State has a 4-point lead as we go to break. Johnson, 15 points for the senior. Fred Thomas has made some outside shots. And Matt White, you see that net in the background? That last dunk didn't make it to the net.
Didn't quite make it in, did it? And I'll be honest with you, on a serious note, I've seen a lot of games where one team has momentum, they've got energy, and for some reason, sometimes a missed dunk can really swing that momentum. And I think with younger players especially, but you know, hopefully for a guy like Rockwest Johnson, it's just another day at the office. So what, you missed a dunk is no different than missing a 14-footer, but we'll see what it does to the momentum in this game with State having the lead right now.
Perry out top, guarded by the freshman from Mississippi State, Demetrius Houston. Here's Collette back in with Ndoye in his face. Count the bucket, and he's fouled. Collette just kept backing his way down. Gets the foul from Ndoye, and just a physical bucket by the big man from Murray, Utah.
Yeah, some of the fans didn't like it, but I think it's the right call. Ndoye there just a little too physical. Had his arms up, but did extend them forward enough to force the contact whenever Collette decided to go up with the basketball. When he did, you get the contact. I think it was the right call.
And a lane violation on Utah State wipes off the free throw from Collette. May have been Sean Harris in the lane early. Houston able to save it in, but it starts a fast break. Live ball turnover, and we're tied at 51.
A cross-court pass. It jumped up and bit Mississippi State a couple of times in their last ball game against Mississippi Valley. There, those live ball turnovers leads to a layup on the other end.
Aggies go back to a zone. Here's Houston out of the corner. Didn't draw iron, and Utah State comes up with a loose ball with Julian Perry. Well, Utah State really relying on that outside shot in the second half. The Aggies, who were 50% in the first half, 7 of 14, just 1 of 6 in the second half.
And right now, with Rockwest Johnson on the bench and Ndoye on the bench, you got Gavin Ware in the low post. You have Demetrius Houston in the game. Here comes Utah State, gets their two best players in there now all at once. Jalen Moore and David Collette at the 4 and the 5. Let's see if State can handle those two big guys on both ends of the court.
Utah State very active out of their 2-3 zone. Now 10 on the shot clock. Thomas out of the corner. A foul underneath, and that may be Collette coming over the back of Gavin Ware. No, it's going to be Perry.
Yeah, Ware, actually I think it's Daniels with position, and Ware then just kind of hooks the, Perry kind of hooks the arm of Daniels.
Tied at 51. Under 10 to go. Threading a needle. Demetrius Houston inside to Travis Daniels, who finishes with the jam.
Only one chance that pass makes it in there, and that's if you throw it hard with some velocity and hope your guy has hands enough to catch it. Daniels did. Nice play.
Travis Daniels now with 5 points. He hit that big 3 early in the second half.
All 5 in the second half, yeah. Nice day so far.
Here's Collette against Gavin Ware. Left and long. Pretty good defense by Gavin Ware. Here come the Bulldogs leading by 2. And a hand check foul. 5th foul on Utah State in the second half. Ware hit that shot well after the whistle. See the big man. He's got a
Yep.
Got a feel for it right now from 17, 18 feet.
We saw that in the season opener. Saw Gavin Ware hit a couple of shots up there at the top of the key.
Bloodman's going to have to ask for a timeout.
Yeah, they run a set play there where Johnson, Rockwest Johnson, coming off a double pick, trying to get him to the basket where he could get a lob. But Jalen Moore was in position, didn't get fooled, covered it up. And so State forced to take a timeout.
It's almost like you had help side defense for Utah State there. Moore was not the defender on Rockwest Johnson, who broke free underneath. And like you said,
he just kind of sloughed off and stood there and realized that it was coming his way. That's a smart play.
Now Mississippi State leading by 2. Try to drop another inbound play. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining. Bulldogs get it in this time. Well, Utah State defensively switching off. This is a sound defensive team. They have not allowed a team to shoot over 40% against them all year. Daniels with the offensive rebound, stuck it back and missed it. And here come the Aggies running. And a foul called on Trevante Bloodman as the double team of Smith at side court. And a reach-in foul. 3rd foul on Trevante Bloodman, the 2nd on Mississippi State in the second half. Haven't seen a whole lot of Darius Perkins in the second half. Here's Moore for 3 from the left wing. And the Aggies have the lead back.
Well, we've seen our fair share of lead changes in this game. You knew it was only a matter of time before Jalen Moore hit a big shot, and that was a big one.
54-53, first 3 of the day for Moore. He has 11. 13 lead changes. And Travis Daniels makes it 14 lead changes. 7 points for Travis Daniels, the junior from Tuscaloosa.
Boy, what a spark Daniels has been in this second half. And we talked about him getting confidence after knocking down that big 3.
And now a foul on Fred Thomas as the Bulldogs a little over-aggressive. Rick Ray wanted a 5-second call, but that foul will take us to immediate timeout. So 7:23 to go. The stretch run of this one. And Mississippi State has a 1-point lead over Utah State. Well, welcome back to Starkville, 55-54. Mississippi State leading Utah State by 1. The Aggies will have the basketball. Matt, we talked about in the first half how Mississippi State had that big advantage of the paint, led 16-6 in points in the paint. But so far here in the second half, the return of David Collette has led the way for Utah State. Aggies have outscored Mississippi State 10-6 in the second half in the paint. Here's Collette, hit with a double team. Jalen Moore just inside three-point range, and Jalen Moore beginning to heat up. 13 for Jalen Moore. And Utah State has a 1-point lead. 15 lead changes today. Largest lead for Utah State was 7 early in the second half. Got largest lead for Mississippi State was in the first half. Bulldogs had a 6-point lead for just a moment. Raquez Johnson, and there's Gavin Ware with a second offensive putback. So Bulldogs continue to crash the offensive boards.
12th offensive rebound of the ball game for Mississippi State. 12 of them. You compare that to just 4 offensive boards for Utah State. That's a big reason why State is just step for step with the Aggies in this ball game.
Quick drop step by Collette, and Utah State and Mississippi State just trading buckets right now. David Collette with 6 points today. Raquez Johnson, quick move, couldn't finish, but Gavin Ware can, and that's 12 for the junior from here in Starkville.
Yeah, somehow Chris Smith, the senior guard, got down there with Ware, who's only 6'4", about 200 pounds. That's just a total mismatch, and Ware was able to clean it up.
So both teams going inside. We talked about that at the half, about how you look for both of these teams to try to go in the paint, and both are doing just that. Here's Maurice Dunlap, the freshman, for 3. And Mississippi State able to chase down the rebound with Gavin Ware. Rick Ray says, hold it, everything. Let's run an offensive set. Bulldogs lead by 1, 5 minutes to go. Gavin Ware, Jalen Moore. Here's Daniels from the corner. Left it long. Mississippi State, 4 of 15 behind the three-point line today. Just 27% behind the arc. Compare that, Utah State is 9 of 22, 41%. Here's Perkins straight away. Rattle that one out. Well, he rarely misses when he's that open. He's hit 4 threes today. Couldn't get that one to fall. And a foul and a hand check. And do we get Collette? Yes, that's number 4.
You know, and that's one that his coach Stu Morrill is just really going to be disappointed with. You're out there. He just started to get going on the offensive end with a move and got his 6th point of the ball game, his 3rd basket. And he's down here on the defensive end, and your big man, the 5, steps out on the perimeter, just reaches in on a little point guard. So that's not a smart foul.
The thing Collette has been able to do is he was able to play and not get that foul with the 4 minutes to go. As Trevante Bloodman drives in, and the first points of the day for Trevante Bloodman.
And there, you know, he takes it into the lane and just challenges Collette. Collette had to drop his hands down and back off because he's got 4 fouls.
And a foul at midcourt, or timeout taken. Timeout taken by Utah State. So a 30-second timeout taken by Utah State. They're going to extend it to a full. 3:42 to go. We'll stay right here. 61-58, Mississippi State leading. And Trevante Bloodman, we saw Trevante Bloodman. We haven't talked about him a whole lot today because he was out with foul trouble Bulldogs leading by 1. That was a big play for the junior. Knew Collette had the 4 fouls, took it right at him.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't necessarily think it's one of those things, Bart, where as soon as he got the basketball, he thought to himself, I'm going after the big guy. No, I think it's just once he put it in the left hand and got to the free throw line and there's space there, I think then Bloodman is an experienced enough player to know, I'm going at him. I'm going to try to draw the contact. And when you get no contact, he just lays it in. And you're right, Collette had no choice but to back off, all because of that silly reach-in foul that he got on the previous possession.
You see Utah State, Stu Morrill, 17th year head coach at Utah State. What's he in that huddle drawing up right now for the Aggies?
Well, you know, the previous possession, Bart, that three-point attempt that was open for Perkins, it was started by Jalen Moore, got the ball on the low post on the right side. He had Collette coming down the lane flashing. I thought he made a mistake passing up Collette. I thought, oh, he missed him for a wide open layup, but it was on purpose to draw that defense down into the lane to give Perkins that open three. You know, based on that last play they drew up, it almost looks as if Stu Morrill is finding a way to get the ball in the hands of his hot three-point shooter right now in Perkins out there on the perimeter. I'd look for more of the same.
Here's Perkins out top, guarded by Javante Bloodman. Utah State made their living from the outside in the first half. Work the perimeter. Here's Moore. It's been a good matchup so far, Moore and Gavin Ware. Moore for the tie. Left it long. And Mississippi State going to back things up, leading by 3.
And you saw Bloodman looking down there to Johnson. He wanted to get it to Raquez, who's one-on-one with Collette, who's got 4 fouls. They're thinking about it.
Gavin Ware hit with a double team. Had it partially deflected, and Utah State with a steal. What a pass to Collette, who just couldn't handle it. Perkins threaded the needle with a bounce pass. Bloodman drives in and draws the foul with 2:40 to go, and that will take us to our final media timeout. So Trevante Bloodman, quiet all day, very aggressive over the last couple of minutes, and Mississippi State, who trail by as many as 7 early in the second half, lead by 3 with 2:40 to go. Mississippi State a 3-point lead over Utah State, 61-58. Let's take a look at the leading scorers so far today. Utah State with Darius Perkins. He has 14 points. He's hit 1 field goal in the second half. That was a 2-point field goal. He had 12 in the half. 0 for 3 behind the 3-point line in the second half. You see Raquez Johnson with 15 points for Raquez Johnson. 10 in the first half, 5 in the second half. So both of those guys had tremendous first halves, have been cooled down somewhat in the second half. And Trevante Bloodman will be at the free throw line shooting 2 shots for Mississippi State coming out of the timeout.
These are big free throws. That one goes through and trying to make one more. These are big free throws right now for Bloodman and his team with 2:40 remaining, trying to extend this lead.
An 80% free throw shooter coming in, and he makes them both. And the lead is 5 for Mississippi State. Largest lead of the second half for the Bulldogs, who led by 6 late in the first half. Largest lead today for Utah State was 7. That was in the first 30 seconds of the second half. Ball knocked free, but Collette gets it. Tried to throw the alley-oop and threw it too long for Jalen Moore. Fred Thomas up and under, lays it in. And the lead is 7 for Mississippi State, their longest lead of the day.
Collette really having a hard time right now for Utah State. Throwing it away on one end and then falling down on the defensive end and allowing Fred Thomas to get to the basket.
Here's Perkins out top, trying to get free, picked up by Gavin Ware. Now the 3 from the left wing and buried by Chris Smith, a big one to get Utah State back within 4 with 1:41 to go. Well, early in the half, Mississippi State got that big 3 from Travis Daniels. That's a big 3 there by Chris Smith, but you see in transition, Fred Thomas, athletic move in traffic, gave the Bulldogs the big lead, the 7-point lead at the time.
You saw the slip by Collette. He was going to try to stop the ball. The problem is Collette had 4 fouls. What's he going to do? Is he going to pick up his 5th in that situation or just get out of the way anyway? But to his credit, on the other end, he's the reason that his teammate got the open look on the 3. They get it to him in the post from the 3. As soon as the defender falls down, he gets it right back to the open shooter on the perimeter who knocks down the 3. So 4-point ball game. A couple of big possessions, none bigger than this one for this Mississippi State team coming up.
Well, big possession for the Bulldogs, 4-point lead, 1:35 to go. Bulldogs a 2-guard set now with I.J. Ready. A couple of point guards on the floor. Want to get a couple of guys that can handle the basketball against Utah State. So Bloodman slides to the 2 and I.J. Ready at the point. And Bloodman throws it away. Picked off by Perry. Well, this is a big possession for Utah State.
Sure is.
Here's Perkins, floating in the lane with the left hand, and he left it long. And the basketball will belong to Mississippi State as we creep inside of a minute to go.
Stu Morrill didn't like the decision there to go so early in that shot clock, but his point guard's thinking there's a minute left in the game and it's a 2-possession game. We got to go now.
And now Reddy will be fouled, and that's the 8th team foul on Utah State, and we'll have a 1-and-1 for I.J. Reddy. I.J. Reddy does not have a point today, has not been to the free throw line. And I.J. Reddy, the sophomore from North Little Rock, Arkansas, missed the preseason, bulging disc in his back, had surgery, first action of the year. And he makes the front end of a 1+1.
First point of the season for Reddy. He's not been on the floor as much in this second half as he was in the first.
Makes both free throws, and the lead is 6 for Mississippi State. Still a 2-possession ball game. Under a minute to go. A lot of 3-point shooters on the floor for Utah State, but a foul before the shot, and that's only the 4th foul on Mississippi State in the second half.
And it's not a bad foul. You saw Bloodman actually smile at his coach and give him the okay sign after he did it, because there's a foul on the floor. It does not send him to the free throw line.
4th foul on Bloodman. Perry from 3. And a block inside, and a foul is called. Gavin Ware picks up the foul.
That's if it's on Ware. I didn't see much contact. I guess they caught him with the body, but there was not a lot of contact. Most of the contact came from Travis Daniels, who was just to the side or behind the shooter.
And Smith makes the free throw. Chris Smith, 3 of 5 behind the three-point line today, 4 of 5 at the free throw line. And Chris Smith, the junior from Sacramento, has 13, make him 14. He's tied with Perkins now with the team lead in scoring with 14, makes it a 4-point game. A couple of big free throws for Chris Smith. And now with 31 seconds to go, of course, shot clock is off. And Matt, you would expect Utah State to go for the steal and then foul quickly.
Sure, you're going to have to hit some free throws if you're Mississippi State, if you can get the basketball inbounded successfully. And I guess it's bad practice sometimes on a broadcast, Bart. When you're watching from a distance, you can't hear, but you can try to read the lips of a coach or what he's trying to tell his players. But Stu Morrill for Utah State kind of motioned, put his hand in front of his face, and I saw the word face, and I think number one is get in the face of the guy whose job it is to find somebody to inbound the basketball to and really make it tough on that initial pass. That's how you start a turnover in this situation. And yeah, if you're Mississippi State, get in there, hang on to that basketball, and get to the free throw line. You have to knock those down.
Fred Thomas to inbound for the Bulldogs. And a foul and a push before the ball was entered. Trevante Bloodman hit the deck, and Fred Thomas trying to be the nice guy to go over and help him up.
Yeah.
And Fred Thomas races over and he slips down.
Good tackle there by Darius Perkins. Utah State has a 9-win football team now after their win last night, but Perkins kind of like a free safety there, knocking a guy out of bounds. It was inadvertent. He didn't mean to, but yeah, he gets the foul with the contact on Bloodman. You're right. Fred Thomas goes over there and falls on his point guard trying to get him up.
And Trevante Bloodman will get to the free throw line. 80% free throw shooter, 2 of 2 at the line today. And he makes the front end of a 1-and-1. Well, Mississippi State has had 2 1-and-1 situations here over the last couple of minutes and hit the front end of both. Trying to give the Bulldogs a 6-point lead, and Bloodman makes the free throw. 30 seconds to go, still 2-possession game. Perkins over to Smith, will take a 3, falling backwards, tipped out of bounds, and the basketball will belong to Mississippi State.
Yeah, Collette got a hand on it. He got up high trying to just tip it to a teammate, but again, he's unable to haul it in because you got a 6'8" Travis Daniels on the floor who can jump with him and get possession here. Another inbounds, another chance to go to the free throw line.
Bloodman trying to break the pressure with a dribble is fouled, and we'll go to the free throw line, and big free throws coming for Bloodman as you see the reach in by Perkins. Well, this is the third and final game of this 3-game series, a 2-for-1, as Mississippi State won by 2 in Starkville back in 2011. And then last year in Logan, Utah State won at 87-68. And now a 3-possession game, 70-63, Mississippi State leading. So the third meeting between these two schools in the history, and the home team trying to win all 3. And Trevante Bloodman makes them both. 8 points for Trevante Bloodman. Now ball knocked free. I.J. Reddy gets it over to Fred Thomas, and that will do it. Stu Morrill says no fouls, and Mississippi State wins it 71-63 over Utah State, and the Bulldogs off to a 3-0 start.
Boy, what a day for Rick Ray and his bunch. in several different areas. They got it done in the paint with guys off the bench in the first half. And Doye with 9 points on the day. Then Gavin Ware and Travis Daniels, but neither guy, starters for Mississippi State did much in the first half. They were the spark in the second half offensively. And then Trevante Bloodman, perfect at the free throw line today, 6 of 6, all of those in clutch time, going to the line, trying to close out this game. This is a really nice team win for Fred Thomas and his teammates here at Mississippi State today.
Utah State led by 4 at the half, and Mississippi State wins it by 8, 71-63. So for Matt White, I'm Mark Gregory saying so long from the Humphrey Coliseum. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.